I'm going to give you a little introduction into the new organ, if you will, today. I thought you'd like to find out how it arrived here and how it got here today as we dedicate it to the glory of God. I understand that in the spring of 1987, the congregation of Enola First Church of God vacated its former location on North Enola Drive in Enola and moved into this present facility. And the organ that was brought into this new location was a Hammond organ, replete with a console and a speaker. The one speaker was out here on the platform, I understand, and there was two of them, right? Oh, just one. I thought there was two. I got the story mixed up, so I apologize. The one speaker then was behind me, behind not only the projection screen, but the mesh screen. It was back in there. So why I thought there was two, I do not know. Apparently there was only one speaker. There were also chimes in that closet as well at that time. And then in the early 1990s, that Hammond organ was retired and replaced by a Wurlitzer parlor organ donated to the church by the late Morgan and Nirma Lloyd, for those of you that remember Morgan and Nirma. That organ was the same organ that you saw sitting up here until it was retired on March 31st. That was the day that this organ that is here now was delivered, just sat down here, and the other one was taken away. Now you might say, why did we retire the Wurlitzer? Well, frankly, we weren't looking to get a new organ until at the 8 o'clock service that Wurlitzer was hissing and cracking and whistling and doing a lot of weird things that disturbed the 8 o'clock worship service. So the Magnifiers team that oversees our worship ministry agreed to allow me to start hunting for a used organ to replace the dying Wurlitzer. And I snooped around and I found that a church in Lancaster County was selling their Rogers 770 organ for, get this, $500. I love a bargain, I do. Now why is that? Well, they didn't use it anymore and they didn't want it. I can't figure that out, but that was what they chose to do. So the Magnifiers heard this proposal, they forwarded it to the administrative board, and the administrative board approved unanimously to get the Rogers 770. So the Rogers made its trip from Lancaster County to Enola on March 31st, and we are using it and dedicating it today officially for the first time. So thank you, Magnifiers team, and thank you, administrative board. Yes, we needed to hire a mover to bring it here, and we had to have Book Organ Company in Ephrata come and hook it up and get supplies for our guys to rough in wires and different things and then dispose of the old ones. So yeah, the cost has crept up to a little north of $3,000, sorry. But this organ was originally put into that church for tens of, I think about $20,000 or more. So we are grateful that we are able to have it today. Recognition of volunteers. I'd like to recognize some folks that were instrumental in bringing about the new organ coming here. In order to be good stewards of God's money, we did have several builders team members come and do a lot of work, roughing in the wiring under the stage and up through in the back closet there to the speakers, hanging these giant speakers on the wall. Doing that work saved us a lot of money, folks. That's good stewardship. So I want to thank the following people from the builders team for their help. Bill Bupp, he came in and helped move the organ in a certain position so that wires could be run underneath the stage. So Bill is not here today, but Bill, we thank you anyway. And Barry Wolf. Barry Wolf, is Barry here today? Barry's back there. Hi, Barry. I didn't see you, so welcome, Barry. Okay, he helped with measuring, drilling holes, odds and ends, helping to lift those massive speakers up onto a lift that were put into place and other things. Barry was here, and so Barry, as team leader of the builders and your hard work, we want to say thank you to Barry, so thank you, Barry. And Dutch Reed. Dutch helped to fish wires underneath the stage, put the inner parts of the speakers into storage so that they would be safe and hung later, fastening conduit to the wall. Dutch did a lot of vacuuming of the messes that the rest of us made. Thank you, Dutch, for doing all your work. Dutch was here a lot, so we appreciate that. And Dennis Liddick. Dennis was the engineer-in-chief. He engineered all of this. He was wise to order a heavy lift to lift those cabinets into place. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can see it. They still haven't picked it up. It's down there in the pavilion. Go take a look at it if you want. Just don't turn it on, please. And anyway, and he devised a way to attach those things to the wall. They are in there. I mean, they're attached to 2 studs, 3 special bolts, rivet bolts they're called? Riv nuts. And they're also tied into the trusses in the ceiling. They ain't going nowhere, let me tell you that. And Dennis did some electrical work and oversaw the fishing of the wires. So yeah, Dennis was here really a lot. Dennis, thank you so much for your engineering work and all that you did to make this come about. So, and by the way, do you ever hear about people that have issues with creepy, crawly creatures finding their way up in the attic? You know that happens, yeah. And I don't know, people don't like that. Well, we needed a creepy, crawly creature to go up into the attic to pull wires through the attic to get them to the speakers. And we did find a creepy, crawly creature to do that. That would be me. I only mention that because I loved working with these guys. Even though I was up in the attic sometimes, we had a great time working together, getting this thing roughed in as good stewards. So again, builders team, I really want to thank you for your hard work. Thank you so much. And we want to thank our organist. Maxine Rudy did much work to figure out how to run this thing because it's different than our old one. So thank you, Maxine. And she is on today as an organist for us at the 10:30 service. Shirley came in and practiced a lot. She was here bright and early playing it this morning, 8 o'clock, and you heard her play a little here at 10:30, so thank you, Shirley. And next Sunday, Shirley can't be here at 8 o'clock, so we have a guest organist. We found out we have another one in our church, Faith Dusky, one of our newest church members. She will be playing the organ at the 8 o'clock service while Shirley is away, so we thank you, Maxine and Shirley and Faith, so much for your faithfulness. Thank you. And I do want to say, for those of you that came in today and heard that and you're thinking, I missed the praise team. That's my kind of worship style. Never fear, next Sunday the praise team will be back and we'll be doing our standard 10:30 service. But you will hear the organ at 8 o'clock if you want to come and experience that kind of worship. And frankly, this worked out. We didn't kick out our praise team today. This is the hand of God. The organ showed up and the guys were able to come and hook it up right away. And this day, a lot of our praise team are absent. It would have been very hard to have a praise team. So we're like, what should we do? Let's dedicate the organ. So God worked all of that out. So for those of you, if the organ's not your cup of tea, that's fine. That's no problem. And next Sunday, praise and worship will be back at the 10:30 service to make you aware of that. And now finally, in this introduction, we have a surprise for piano players. Some of you may be puzzled about why we would get another organ this day and age, because after all, that church where it came from didn't want it anymore. And hasn't it been the trend lately for praise teams to lead worship through songs, hymns, and spiritual songs that are contemporary to our time? That has been the trend in Christian worship in evangelical churches like our own. And yes, that is the case, but remember, we still make use of the organ and classic music and our 8 a.m. early worship, also at Christmas Eve, and you've heard the organ at other special occasions during the year. And that's when you'll probably hear it, 8 o'clock Christmas Eve, special occasions now and then. And some of you may be concerned about stewardship as well, because organ players are becoming rarer and rarer. They're hard to find because if you don't know this, to play the organ, you have to not only use your hands, but you have to use your feet to play the pedals. Folks like that are hard to find. And what would we do if our organists would retire or move away? What would we do? And was it a good idea to get an organ when someday, if our organists retire, when they retire, that we don't have an organ player anymore? Here's good news. This organ offers a surprise if you're a piano player. There is a way to cut corners. By activating a surprise corner cutting feature, this organ takes the lowest note that you play on your left hand and it transfers it down to the pedals so that you don't need to play the pedals. Do you understand what this means? A piano player could play this organ. So to demonstrate this today, we are going to invite a pianist, a person who absolutely loves to cut corners and is known notoriously for cutting corners, to come and play the organ using this surprise feature. Again, as this person comes, the pedals will not be used by the corner cutter, piano player, only the hands, that's it. And as this person comes to play, Judy's going to come and lead us in a praise song that we will sing while that corner cutter piano player plays the organ. By the way, that corner cutter would be me.
Won't you sing with me number 213? 213. We bring the sacrifice of praise. Number 213.
My feet are back on the, not up front there, okay. No idea, okay.